Hey family, this is Ashley B, Healing for Destiny, coming with a quick message, something to encourage somebody. What I'm talking about today, what I'm bringing today, I actually did a video on my other channel. I'm going to put it in my description. I want you guys to go check that out when you get a chance. And God just wanted me to bring it on this channel as well, because the one that I brought on that channel, that platform, is I was kind of in my preacher hat with that. So God kind of wanted me to just bring it to this channel, bring like a different version for the atmosphere, for the climate of this channel. So what I'm talking about today is this is like the best way that God has helped me to begin to forgive, to begin to, it's like the best representation for me to forgive, for me to walk in forgiveness, for me to understand how God works out things for my good, for me to understand how God turns pain into power, pain into purpose, just how he will use the very same things that hurt us, the very same things that was meant to, keep us down, that was meant to hurt us. Just how God always has a way of working those things out. And he has taught me that through the story of Joseph. And God has wanted me, what he has given me and what I have learned from that story, because that has been a story that has really helped me, like just meditating on that story, really understanding that story, to kind of look at my life, look at the things that I've been through, look at the things that I've overcome. And God is just saying, I want you to speak about this story every time you talk about forgiveness, because this is going to be something that will help somebody to be able to forgive, be able to, see the bigger picture, be able to see like what God can do for you. So you're not somebody that's constantly holding on to pain and hurt from your past, from people that hurt you, being ashamed of the things that you've gone through, your mistakes, all these things that happened in your past, just being able to overcome it. And the best way that he has shown me with the story in the Bible is the story of Joseph. And so I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit. So, we all know the story of Joseph. Like, he went through a lot, right? Like, his brothers, from the beginning, his brothers hated him. They didn't like him. You know what I mean? He was, and that God showed me like that. Sometimes that represents those of us that are like good-hearted people, right? We're like the good-hearted people that's just always, putting good out in the world. We just have this heart of love, and it just seems like every time we turn around, we getting our feelings hurt, or you constantly getting hurt in your life. People constantly stumping on your heart, walking out on you, abandoning you, and you just don't understand, because you're like, man, like, why do I go through this? I'm a good-hearted person. Like, I don't deserve this. That's why I'm saying so much that God has shown me, just, about myself, with the story of Joseph. And so like he went through a lot, right? Like, his brothers, he had this light about him. His brothers just couldn't stand it. They hated it. And so, they abandoned him. They wanted to get rid of him. They left him for dead. They threw him in a pit. You know what I mean? They left him out somewhere. He didn't know where he was. Just all type of stuff. And then, you fast forward to when Joseph was in jail. He went through the situation when he was in jail. But the moral of the story is that all these things that Joseph went through in this story, even being abandoned, left for dead at the hands of his own brother. And this is why this story is so powerful, because for one, this is a good story for, for you that are trying to heal from like the pain that you have suffered at the hands of your own family. Maybe you might be somebody that has gone through hurt from your own siblings or your own family. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's just such a great representation for God to show, like, even your family can do you wrong. Even your family can abandon you. You know what I mean? But just like this happened to Joseph, God shows how he can turn it around. Like, even when your own family abandon you, even when your own family are out to kill you, out to get you, God has a way of just turning it around. God has a way of being able to heal you, heal your heart from that pain that you might have gone through with your family. And so all of that, but see, here's the thing. Here's what God showed me about this story. So like I said, a good story about forgiveness, it it highlights so much, right? It highlights how forgiveness, how you're able to forgive. Sometimes it feels like you're not able to forgive. We hold on to all these grudges. We hold on to all the hurt. Like, Joseph could easily have carried a grudge against his brothers for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? And rightfully so. Like, look at what y'all did to me. I didn't deserve that. You know what I mean? Y'all left me for dead. He could have that. He could have had that in his heart for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? So like that for like showing that we're able to forgive no matter what. Showing like how life goes on. You know what I mean? Like imagine if Joseph took if it where it started with his brothers doing what they did. Imagine if he carried that on for the rest of his life and being a victim to that, or using that as his excuse, or you know what I mean, just carrying that on for the rest of his life. No, like that happened to him, but it did not break him. It did not keep him down. He moved on with his life. You know what I mean? He kept living. He kept going. So, we that shows us right there, like no matter those people that have hurt us in the past, no matter what we've gone through, we have to get back up. We have to overcome those things. We have to see the bigger picture. So like I said, seeing the bigger picture, seeing how, for me, I think the biggest like takeaway from this story is purpose. Like God will always, it's that most painful thing. It's that most painful season that you went through in your life. It's that most painful time that you went through in your life. It's that one experience, that one traumatic or multiple traumatic events that you have gone through is the very same thing that God will use to birth your purpose. To birth your purpose. It's the pain of that situation. It's what you went through that will empower you to be able to help somebody else. It will empower you to it will empower you to take that pain back and get power. The pain from it, create power from it, birth power, and do something with that power. Like whatever it was, it was meant to keep you down. It was meant to keep you stuck. But you take that power back away from that pain and you birth something from it. You birth something great. You help others. You step into your purpose. You take, like, for example, if you're somebody that went through domestic violence, like domestic abuse. Maybe you're somebody that went through that in multiple relationships. At some point, that could be the very same thing that God will want to use for your purpose. He wants to use that for your purpose. Like what you went through so much, right? You went through so much pain. You might have gone through so much pain. Being in a hospital, almost dying because of, this violence and this abuse that you suffered. But that might be the very same thing that God is trying to birth a purpose in you, to turn that around, like get your power back from that and take that purpose and help other women, help others that are going through domestic violence, domestic abuse. Being a spokesperson for it, being somebody that's not afraid to tell your story. You know what I mean? Being able to be transparent, because through transparency is power. Telling your story is power, because I'm telling you, there's so many other people out there that needs to hear your story. There's so many other people that will be empowered. There's so many other people that's sitting around silent and going through these battles behind closed doors. But just hearing your story, just hearing somebody else standing up and sticking up and listening to somebody be empowered by the same thing that they might be going through behind closed doors, it is empowering. It helps other people. These are the very same things, like what happens when you allow God to heal you, heal your heart, and bring you into purpose. Take those very same things that trauma that you faced in your life, those events that you faced in your life that was meant to keep you in captivity, that was meant to keep you down, but rising from those things and empowering yourself, telling your story, turning it into your purpose. Your purpose is your power. And that's what I have learned. That's what God has shown me the most about this story. And so this is why forgiveness is so important. Like I'm telling you, read. If you have never really sat and read the story of Joseph, read the story of Joseph. It is such a powerful story. It is such an inspiring and encouraging story for you to be able to forgive others, forgive those that have hurt you. Because see, the thing about what happened with Joseph, like I said, what God ended up doing for him in the end, it shows you like all this stuff that you might hold on towards people, or these grudges that you might hold on towards people, it shows you like how in the end it doesn't even benefit you. It doesn't even matter to hold on to all that pain and resentment and those grudges towards people, because look at what God will do for you. Look at how God will turn things around. Look at how God will heal you and turn that pain into something else. And so the funny thing about it is, like, in the end, Joseph, like, all these, the same brothers that threw him in the pit, the same brothers that abandoned him, were the very same people that had to come in the end and beg for his mercy. They were the same people that, do you see? God is funny. God is funny. God does things in funny ways, because these were the very same people that had to come beg for his mercy, that had to come like for asking for forgiveness. We did this to you. We did this to you, but please forgive us, please, please. And Joseph could have had that heart. He could have had that heart of revenge. He could have had that prideful spirit. And he could have been, prideful in front of them, showing them like, look at who I've become. Yeah, I'm this great man now and all of this. But he didn't even have that heart. This is what helps us. Knowing that story and thinking about that, this is what helps us not to repay evil for evil. This is what helps us to see the bigger picture and why we can forgive, and knowing that God is going to do something better for us no matter what we went through. Because see, Joseph, he could have had, like I said, he could have had that spirit, but what did he tell them? He said, you intended it. You intended it for my harm. It was intended for my harm, but God intended it for my good. He intended it for my good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. That's what he told them. He said, you guys, you intended what y'all did. You intended it for my harm, but it's okay. It's okay what y'all did. It's okay though. Yeah, y'all did it to harm me. Yeah, y'all did it to break me. Yeah, y'all did it to leave me for dead. Yeah, y'all hated me for whatever reason. Y'all did it for whatever reason y'all did, but it don't even matter the intention behind it. It doesn't even matter why y'all did what you did, because it saved me. It saved me. It brought me into purpose. Listen to those words that he said. You intended it for my harm, but God intended it for my good, to accomplish. You hear what listen to that. To accomplish what is now being done. To accomplish this better life that God had for me. To accomplish me being able to step into my purpose, to help others, to save lives. You see how God will use the very same things that was meant to break you, that was meant to harm you, the very same things that the devil used to harm you, the very same people that left you for dead, that threw you in the pit, that did all these things to you in the past. It is the very same things that God is going to use for your purpose, for your good, for your benefit, to strengthen you, to build character, for you to be able to grow through the things that you go through, for you to be able to grow through the things of your past, for you to be able to overcome those things. It is the very same thing. God is funny, y'all. It is the very same thing that God will use. And before I let y'all go, to add, I'm going to tell y'all something. Like I said, transparency is power, right? Let me give y'all something. When I was going through my season, when I was going through my low season, somebody had spoke this word curse over me. I had a conversation with somebody. I'm not going to get into the details, but I was really, like I said, if you've been watching my videos, that season that I was in, I was very hurt. I had so much resentment. I was very wounded. Like I had bitterness in my heart. I had hurt and anger in my heart. And this person, they tried to hurt me with this. Well, they did hurt me with this. I'm going to be honest. They did hurt me with this. She had made a comment to me telling me that I needed to heal. All my anger and all that, she used that. She tried to use that to like hurt me. And I look at it now, that was a word curse. And she was using that to try to hurt me, to try to defeat me, to try to tell me something about myself. And she told me, she said, you worried about the wrong stuff. You need to heal. That's what you need to be worrying about. You need to be healing. And let me tell y'all something. For a long time, that person, because it was the person that was behind it. That's what it really was for me, because it was the person that was behind behind saying that to me, number one. And then that being said to me, that stayed with me for so long. And that was exactly what the devil intended. That was his intention. He wanted to hurt me with that. He wanted to hurt me with that word curse. He wanted me to think back on that. He wanted me to feel like, you know, he wanted me to feel like what I was going through was so unfair. He wanted that to affect me, and it did. I am not gonna lie, that affected me for so long. Every time I thought about those words, every time I thought about the person behind those words saying that to me, I just felt so much hurt and anger. Like, who, like, what? You know what I mean? And it affected me. It stayed with me. Every time I thought about that, I would get angry. It would bring me, you know, I might have been out of that place of pain, and every time I would think about that, it would get me all angry again and all of that. But this is what I mean about God, how God works, how God turns things around for your purpose, because that very same thing that the devil intended to use to hurt me, to keep me stuck, to keep me bound, to keep me in pain because of that word curse that that person used against me. Because what did she tell me? That I need to heal? That is now the very same thing that God is using me to do to help others. God took me through a healing journey so that I can now help others. You see how God works? You see what I mean about that story? You see what I mean about purpose? That very same word curse that was spoken over me, that was meant to defeat me. That was meant to defeat me, because it did. It defeated me. It did. It hurt me. But that's that same thing that was spoken over me is now the same thing that I'm sitting on this platform. I'm sitting behind this camera. This is the same thing that God has now used to turn my pain into purpose. I'm now helping others. So right. So God took me through my healing journey so that I can heal. And I'm now sitting on this camera helping others. The journey that God has taken me through, the pain that I've gone through, God has turned it around all for my good. And just like Joseph said, it's okay what the intention was, but God turned it around to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. And so now God is going to use me. God is now using me to help save other lives, to help others that are going through the things that I went through, that are being defeated by those type of things. You know what I mean? Those word curses, being defeated by your past, is the very same thing that God is using me to help somebody, to not only empower myself, but empower and inspire somebody else. You see how God works? You see how God will work, how he will turn things around? That very same thing that was meant to cause you harm and pain, God will use it as your empowerment. He will use it to bring you into your destiny. That's what this channel is all about. Healing for destiny. Does not matter what happened in your past, but it's all about what God is trying to do, how God is trying to take you through this journey so that you can move into your destiny. That is my story. That's the story of Joseph. And I hope that it empowers you and it inspires you. And you think about that. You think about that when you feel like you can't, you can't forgive others, when you feel yourself feeling hopeless. Don't think about what's happening now. Think about what God is going to do down the line. Think about what he's trying to do within you to bring you to your destiny, to bring you to what he's trying to do in your life. If you allow him, you have to give him your heart. You have to give him that space in order to go through this journey with him. I love you guys. I will see you in the next video.